What up? What up? What up? What up? What up?
Stink. Somebody has to say it.
Somebody got to say
And
it.
I'm not talking about a record.
The Lakers. The Lakers.
I'm not acting like they're the worst team in the league. I'm not telling you they stink because they're bereft of talent. I'm saying they stink right now because guess what? The Lakers find a way to get your hopes up, and when you believe in them, it comes crashing down.
That's a fact.
They're the Grinches who stole Christmas. They're contaminating Hollywood. The Lakers stink.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
Welcome
Dude.
to another episode of the Swiss Shoes Podcast, episode number 8. My name is EricL. We got Ernest and we got Armastradamus. And we had a week off last week, but a lot of stuff happened in the last 2 weeks of the season of the NBA season. And let's get right into it. That little clip that y'all heard was from Stephen A. Smith about the Lakers. They are a 500 team at 8-8. LeBron, they're saying that he's questionable to return.
Yeah, he got upgraded to questionable.
I feel like he's gonna play.
Yeah. So
yeah, he's gonna play. He's gonna play.
He's gonna play.
He's gonna play. He's gonna play. So they're 8-8. Did anyone see this coming? Nope. Not with the talent, not with the roster they have, but then again, kind of saw the red flags here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But Jesus, my goodness, losses by the Timberwolves by 24 at home, and then getting shellacked by the Bulls at home again on the Monday night. I don't want to push the panic mode on the Lakers, even though they're 8-8 through 16, but the 20-game clip is pushing us. They gotta show us some stuff, and I think they gotta show some stuff up immediately, or else it might be to a point where LeBron himself might not save the seats for the Lakers just to like have the chance to get him into playing. But last year, so Ernest, Amari, please explain more. Because I know you got a whole lot to get off your chest about this team. So take the floor. Go right ahead.
I'm right ahead.
I guess I'll start.
Yeah.
It's just been this entire season so far. It's been a ball of frustration. Pretty much what Stephen A. said in that clip that Ernest played when we went live. We get our hopes up. We started to think that we're rolling. Chemistry is good. We can't do no wrong. And then, you get blown out by the Timberwolves. It's just unfortunate. And it's crazy things that Ernest and I was talking about the other day is that I find it weird that we have all of this talent on the team. And, everybody keeps saying, well, wait till LeBron gets back. Wait till LeBron gets back. And that's fine and all. But the thing is that this roster was assembled so that way when LeBron low manages or take these game off or have like an injury, that the team is still able to hold down the fort. I remember that game against the Spurs that we played like in the early beginnings of the season. Russ had a really good night. AD had a really good night. We went to overtime. That's the night that Jakob Poeltl had 27-14. But the fact that we were still able to hold down the fort with LeBron being out, it kind of gave us hopes. It's like, all right, bet, But it's a shame that it's still the LeBron factor, like the team can't win without LeBron. And it's just ridiculous, And then I'm going to start off by saying it's not even Russ. Well, it is Russ. But I'm going to start off by saying AD, And I feel like I've been defending Anthony Davis for a very long time. And I know that when we spoke about the top 75 list, I had him on my list. But now it's just like, I get it, the Pelican days and stuff like that. But it's just like, bro, you have another dude on your team in Dwight Howard who is not on the list, who is very deserving of being on the list. Not saying that the list can change, but it's just like, bro, you have to come out every night and prove that you're that guy. You know, I know Ernest earlier when we was doing our award predictions, you had AD as your MVP. He's not playing like MVP. 18 points last night against the Bucks. I get it. Giannis is a force to be reckoned with, but you cannot have you Giannis can't go at you and you don't go back at Giannis. Like, I don't know if you're dealing with the injury or not, but you got to step up, make your presence known because, you know, shying away from it, you know, I will say though, shying away from like the issues that's going on in the team, I will say though, you do have some fire in you. You know, he got he got ejected the other night. You know, he's quick to have his teammates back. And I get that, that's cool and all, but it's like it has to show on the court. You know what I'm saying? Like, AD, you got to be dominant, dude. Now, Russ is Russ. You know, that's a good thing and that's a bad thing. But yeah, like as a fan, it's been frustrating. You know, if you ask me, our most consistent player on the team has been Carmelo Anthony, which is really crazy. You know, I already know what I'm gonna get from Melo, but like AD gotta have a dominant night. One night, next night, he ain't even there. You know, so Ernest, you can take it away from here.
You know, it's a multitude of things, right? Like, you want to be able to stay patient because obviously, you know, no one anticipated, you know, the young guys to be hurt to start the year, right? THT was out for some time. Kendrick Nunn is out, you know, and then, you know, Wayne Ellington was also out for some time. So, you know, we started off not with the ideal personnel to start off, right? And the reason's still out. And that's hurt the continuity to a degree because obviously during training camp, you're not anticipating that you're playing heavy minutes with Kent Bazemore or you're playing heavy minutes with Avery Bradley and Rondo, like, you know, and I get it. And I understand the difficulty in trying to get the continuity correct with players in and out the lineup. But what bothers me the most is, I would say, three things. Coach Vogel in his lineups, right? I'll give you a stat last night, right? So prime example, Lakers were the game was basically tied going into the fourth quarter.
I think we was up by like 2 at one point. You know,
right? We came back after losing the lead in the first quarter. We came back. I like the effort that we played, not in the second quarter, obviously. And right now, as the season's been progressing, we've been terrible in the third quarter by like a margin. I think it's by like a minus 20, a minus 26 or something like that. As a team every third quarter this year. So we're getting blown out in the third quarter. So it was good to kind of see them fight back in the third quarter after that horrible ending to the second quarter. Come back, take the lead. Here's what bothers me. Around, I would say the 3-minute mark or the 2-minute mark in the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter for another additional totality of 8 minutes, I believe it was. Or no, actually, yeah, it's about 8 minutes. No, excuse me, it's about 3 minutes and 18 seconds in between from the end of the third going into the fourth, right? Frank Vogel does not have AD, Russ, Melo, or THT on the floor. He runs a lineup of DeAndre Jordan at the 5, Kent Bazemore at the 4, Wayne Ellington at the 3, Malik Monk at the 2, and Rajon Rondo at the 1.
Time out. Wait. Malik Monk.
Go ahead.
And Kent Bazemore.
Yep.
And who else?
It was
Rondo and Monk.
Rondo
and Wayne Ellington. That was the 5.
Who was the 5? Who's the center?
DeAndre
DJ.
DJ was I believe a minus 11, if I'm not mistaken. Right.
If I'm one of the Laker executives or fan base, I'm firing Frank Vogel for that. That's
because that literally cost us the game.
That cost the game right there. Because mind you,
Frank Vogel
against
the Buck team.
Hold on. Well, look, listen. Giannis, as great as he was last night, how dominant he was last night, he was only +1 when he was on the floor. So the Lakers made it. At the end of the day, no matter what Giannis was doing, the Lakers were able to combat that, right? But when he was off the floor, that's where they didn't capitalize off of that. You throw out a
Right.
lineup like that. If
Right.
Russ, if you're matching 80 minutes with Giannis's minutes, right? Your luxury is that okay, because on at the time it was Chris Middleton on the floor to start the fourth quarter and hit those
Right.
2 threes.
Right.
And that's what blew the game over because we didn't have the right personnel on the floor. You should have had at least Russ or Melo or Russ and THT, somebody who was a point of attack and could keep the offense going. You have 4 guys that should not be sitting at all at the same time. Like you can't make this up. You can't make this up. Right. So
where was Melo on the
And-
lineup?
you have Rondo trying to create shots, but the defense knows Rondo's not. He's not a
Right.
threat to go to the basket, nor he's not a threat to shoot the ball.
The
So
only point of
everyone's staying
attack
at
is
home.
Monk. Mhm.
Right.
Wow.
And Monk could be very erratic. Now
Right.
Melo for the last 5 games, he's only averaged 10 points. He's been very. I believe he's starting to come back to life a little bit.
He's gotten
right.
cold.
He's got
Right.
cold.
And obviously on the road, he's a totally different player on the road than he is at home. You know, he leads the league in 3-point percentage at home, and I believe he's like bottom 15, bottom 20 on the road. So, you know, it's a tale of 2 cities, so to speak. Where for Melo, like he's great at home, but on the road, Melo has not been great at all.
Yeah.
So that's one issue. Another issue is effort, like just simple effort. There should be no reason why we need LeBron James to beat the T-Wolves or the Thunder
Right.
twice.
Right.
Like you don't need LeBron if you're playing those teams. Those teams are trying to lose. They're trying to lose, and yet and still we come out with this. I have no idea. Like I think it's just you know, people, they expect players to just respect them and be like, well, they got all these stars in this team. You know, we're just going to lay down for them. And that's not the case. Like the effort is not there. Honestly, if you just play with effort, you beat OKC and you beat Minnesota. Just with effort and execution and playing like you give a crap. Like I don't understand that they go through these motions and AD's motor is just I have no idea where it is at times. Like he settles for jump shots, which bothers me the most. Like Chris Middleton is on him in one play, and he's posting him up, and instead of him just attacking the rim, he passes up to THT, who takes a contested 3-point shot. Like that just bothers me. And then the third thing, what worries me the most, is that we're relying heavily on LeBron to be the offensive guru to run this team. Whereas if Frank Vogel's position should be creating more schemes to help better fluid the offense. Every single time the Lakers, especially against the Bulls, the Lakers would run this
high screen and roll.
Yeah, it was a high pick and roll right between AD and Russ. There's no movement on the weak side.
Yeah.
So then everyone's standing around. AD gets the ball at the high post or the extended free throw line, and then everyone clears out. It's the same play every single time. There's no movement. And then when AD gets trapped, he's not really good passing out the trap. He doesn't make good reads. So it's just frustrating that we don't have an offensive scheme. And I thought Fizdale was supposed to do that, but I guess not.
Good luck.
And
good luck with that.
And this is why Jason Kidd was a big loss for us. I would like to see them go out and get Terry Stotts, maybe. You know, he was great. You know, he's a great offensive coach, obviously, with Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. Or we go out and try to get Alvin Gentry, because Alvin Gentry knew how to play Anthony Davis. He knew exactly Anthony Davis's best years, aside from the bubble year, was with New Orleans when Alvin Gentry was the head coach. And we just got to
make sure, because he made sure that you get Anthony Davis in that post, get him the ball in that paint, low in the post, and then you drive and kick out of that double team in that post for AD.
I don't really understand. You know, Vogel changed that game during a 5-minute stretch at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter last night, where he played Bazemore, Rondo, DJ together. The Lakers were a -7 in that stretch. That's the game right there. That's the game right there.
And also to mention, you know, there was some questionable call. Not saying I'm gonna blame the entire game on the referee.
Oh, there were questionable calls, especially the three-point attempt that Middleton did, and THC went straight up, and Middleton jumped into his airspace.
They called a foul.
And they called a foul, and I was like, what? AD's dunk on Giannis
That was a
Giannis hit
foul.
him in his head. That should have been a flagrant for
And
one,
then
and
there
they
was the other
didn't call
one.
anything.
Actually, there was two other ones when Giannis went up for a layup and he blocked off AD, and
Right,
then the other one when THC was in the paint and Giannis came storming down the lane. They called the blocking foul. So four
yeah,
questionable calls,
and
And I'm
needless
surprised
to,
we didn't win that challenge either. When
right,
Vogel challenged that play, it's
right.
crazy.
Needless to say, also Melo, Monk, and Ellington last night were 4 for 21 on threes. The rest of the teams were 8 for 20. You're not going to win games if you can't shoot threes. We were 0 for 16 from three in the fourth quarter. 0 for 16 from three. So the offense has to get better quickly. The defense is just a matter of effort. He has the personnel. Vogel has the personnel to get the players to commit. It's just a matter of getting these players back. I think Vogel will be fine, but the more he puts up these lineups and the more frustrating it starts to seem, I think he's on a hot seat. There's a reason why they didn't extend him longer than a 1 year extension. So I don't know, man. Vogel he's shown he's great defensive coach. He's a great defensive coach, and his schemes defensively work really well. Obviously, for the last 2 years, 3 years, Legs were a top three defense in the league. Um, and this year, and I understand that the personnel that we have are more catered to the offensive end, but at the same time, it's like, geez, man, like it's just logical things at this point. Like there should be no reason why DeAndre Jordan and Bazemore are 4 and 5.
Yeah,
That like,
that's
what are we
ridiculous.
doing?
Yeah,
And then you throw out your rest of your guards and your forwards are not creators. There's no one to kind of create their own shot. They're all setup guys. I just didn't understand that, and that's where we lost the game. It's like,
yeah,
okay, I understand if Giannis is out the game, cool. 80, sit your ass down, and then you match those minutes. But at the
right.
same time, you have Russell Westbrook, who actually had a great game
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah. Surprisingly, yeah,
He had 15 assists and 3 turnovers, and all the turnovers were in the first half.
yeah,
You can't ask anything better for what Russ did for you. So that was the opportunity for Vogel to say, Russ, do you for this stretch. Do whatever it is that you did in OKC. This is the time that you can impose your will on the game, right?
Mhm.
The way you wanted to. You surround him with shooters. I would have put, even if you would have had DeAndre at the 5, cool. You would have had DeAndre. I would have had Melo at the 4. The 3 would have been Ellington. The 2 would have been Monk, and the 1 would have been Russ. You had 3 shooters on the floor, and you have a pick and roll guy that Russ could play off with, and then just live with what you live with there, because those are Russ strengths.
Right.
So I just don't understand what Vogel is doing. I don't know if he's watching the tape. I'm just it's very frustrating to watch at times. We had a chance to win the game. I believe like if we would have played better, we had that I don't know, that airhead play Melo did when he took the ball out
To Bobby Portis.
yeah, and he tried to throw it to Avery Bradley. Avery Bradley didn't realize it. Then they got the ball and then wound up hitting the 3. And I was just like, it was just terrible. It was terrible. So like, I'm not pressing the panic button yet because I have to see what we look like when we're fully healthy.
Right.
But at the same time, I am very concerned about these lineups. And the more Vogel does this, I feel like the more hot his seat will get. Now, I believe firing a coach in the middle of the season? No, because and it's happened with LeBron, and clearly, LeBron has been
It
able to
worked
adapt
out.
to that, right?
Yeah.
But it's all about who's going to replace him, and the system has to change and all this stuff. So again, I just have to see what they look like fully healthy and give Vogel at least that respect in that regard. Like, let's see what you're doing when you have a fully healthy squad. And then, but man, I am not happy with what I'm seeing. I'm very concerned about this because LeBron's in his 19th year, man. Like, over 50,000 minutes. Like we can't keep relying on this man to save us every single time.
Right.
Like at some point, Anthony Davis has to say, "Give me the ball. Let me go to work and let me carry this team the way I'm supposed to." But he's not, and I don't understand it. And don't get me wrong, he's having a great year statistic wise. He's the only player right now, I believe, leading scorer. He's the only player right now in the league averaging over 20 points and over 2.5 blocks. You know what I'm saying? He's averaging double-digit rebounds, but like that shit is not consistent. Excuse my language. It's just not consistent at all, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like y'all problems with your rotations and how Frank Vogel um plays his lineups is the same problem I have with Tibbs with the Knicks. So last night, for example, so third quarter comes. Third quarter comes. Is the typical third quarter doom. They get outscored 22-18, and I know the Lakers have been very bad in third quarters. The Knicks have been equally as bad, or maybe a little bit worse in the third quarters because they've been getting outscored like minus 28, 29 in the third quarter, which is like in the bottom three in the league. The starters have been like total atrocious in the last 6 games. Um, Julius Randle, the last 6 games I read on Stat Muse on Twitter, he's on minus 63 the last 5 games.
Yikes.
Evan Fournier, who the Knicks are paying $20 million per year, he's averaging 7 points a game, and the last 6 games he has not played in the fourth quarter at all. Okay, Kemba Walker, the last 5 games he's averaged 6 points a game, and in the last 6 games also he has not played a minute in the fourth quarter, sat on the bench. This is a real problem. This is a real problem. Um, look at last night. I was at the game. Typical the way the game starts. First quarter, okay. As soon as Rose and Taj gets off the bench, and now the energy picks up a little bit more. The offense starts clicking a little bit more. Then you bring in Toppin and quickly. Now you got something cooking with also with Burks. They always bring the energy. Unlike the starters, they lack the energy. They lack the spark, especially in the third quarter, which has been the bugaboo quarter for the Knicks all season long. Um, Also, the fact that the way Tibbs uses his rotations at certain points of the game is starting to really irritate me. Like last night when you had Obi Toppin coming in during the fourth quarter and playing lights out, and Alec Burks, who's keeping the Knicks alive in that stretch in the fourth quarter. Dude scored out of the 15 points Alec Burks scored, 13 of them was in the fourth quarter. But guess what? He ran out of gas. Tibbs had him playing 16 straight minutes without a break. But instead of Tibbs taking Alec Burks out, guess who takes out? Obi Toppin. For who? Derrick Rose. While Julius Randle was in the game, turnovers, missed shots. It was look at the box sheet last night. Randle took 11 shots. Guess how many threes he took? Take a quick guess. How many threes he took?
Like eight,
Eight.
9.
Out of 11 shots he took, 10 of them were threes.
That's bad offense. That is bad.
wait. You mean to tell me not one time you had Wendell Carter, Mo Bamba, Franz Wagner, you didn't go into the paint, get the ball, draw the double, and kick out and revolve the offense around you being in that paint? No. He was out in the perimeter shooting blanks from 10 threes, only made 1. But it was not last night, but it's been an ongoing theme for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you had a point now where we're pushing the 20 games, the 20 game bookmark. They're 8-7. If they keep this up, someone's gonna have to give. I mean, Tibbs, he's gonna have to at some point he's going to have to switch up the starting lineups, extend the rotation, extend the bench, because this starting five is not it at all. Okay.
See, the thing is, I told you in the beginning of the season, my concern with the Knicks was that their personnel doesn't make sense to me for what the coach wants to do, right? Tibbs is all about hustle and defense, and your defense will create the offense. Now you guys cater to more offensive minded players who are less of defensive players and less of defensive player ability. So you guys get hunted a lot. Like Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker have been very, very bad on defense. You guys, the Knicks have
But also,
the worst transition defense in the league right now as we speak.
yeah,
That's not a recipe to be successful. And the East has gotten better as I stated earlier. Like the the Knicks have gone away from their identity, and offensively, last year
offensively,
everyone knew Julius Randle was the guy, right, to get all the shots and create the offense, and everyone else will eat off of that.
now
This year,
it's
Kemba
Kemba, you got
Walker, Fournier,
Kevin Fournier,
and then
RJ, and
RJ
then
took a leap.
Randall, and
You know
then
what
you
I'm
got
saying?
Randall.
Right,
Gotta share the wealth.
right. They
now we
don't.
gotta
They don't
share it.
know.
They don't know how to
They
play,
don't.
play off the
Right.
ball.
Right. They don't know how to necessarily find continuity together. And
Right.
Tibbs is not a great coach offensively to kind of solve that problem. I think what the Knicks should do is, um, you need more veteran guards or wings um, that are defensive minded, right? Like a James Ennis or a Wes Matthews, who are
Wes
still out
Matthews.
there, who are very serviceable, who can, they're 3-and-D guys that can
Mhm.
get you a bucket, right? Ennis is more of a shot creator, but Wes Matthews is more of a setup guy, but they both can play defense in small minutes that can help you along the way to kind of keep the intensity going forward. But man, I don't know. The Knicks, and you guys have a tough stretch coming up.
Yeah, so let
And
me give
it's
you the
looking
rundown. Let me
it's
give you the
looking
rundown
not
of the
looking good.
stretch of after. So the next 30 next so after so they play the Rockets on Saturday, right? So after that, this is where the schedule turns. So they got a Saturday at home versus the Rockets. They can do a back to back at Chicago Sunday. Tuesday at home versus Lakers. Friday at home versus the Suns. Then next Saturday at Atlanta. Tuesday the 30th at Barclays against the Nets. Thursday December 2nd, home versus the Bulls. Saturday December 4th, home versus the Nuggets. Then they got a 3-game road trip. December 7th at San Antonio. December 8th back to back at Indiana, which they lost early in the season. Friday to December 10th at Toronto. And then they come back home games Sunday, December 12th in the afternoon against the Bucks. And they finish off that stretch Tuesday, December 14th against the Golden State Warriors.
Man, that
So
is
the
brutal.
the only two teams I know we was talking about this before we went live, but the only two teams I could see like, all right, the Knicks is going to win this game for sure is going to be against the Houston Rockets and the San Antonio Spurs.
Right. Those are two guaranteed
Those are
games I think you guys
two
should
guaranteed
win.
games. Yeah. Everything else is going to be tough. Even though you guys see us next week, next Tuesday,
We'll have
I
LeBron back though.
I ain't gonna write us off yet, but you know how we get down.
Yeah.
Anyway, right.
Yeah. I can look, I can see us losing to you guys on Tuesday at the
Yep.
Garden, but considering that that'll be LeBron's, I believe, second game back, I think the Lakers would win that game.
And it's the Garden.
Not convincingly, but the way Melo's been
It's gonna be drama.
playing,
It's gonna be some drama.
I think the Lakers win that game. But needless to say, like that is a very, very tough stretch for you guys, man. And you can easily go 0-12 in that stretch. Easily.
I'm not banking on that, but it wouldn't surprise me if they finish winning something in that stretch.
Right.
But knowing them, they'll probably eke out wins versus teams that they're not supposed to win.
Right,
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
For sure.
Like,
For sure.
like that Milwaukee game, like a
Yeah.
week ago. That one was a solid win.
Yeah.
And then they came back against the Bucks at home.
Yeah.
Down like 24, they almost pulled it out because they sat the starters and played the rest of the bench.
Yeah.
And and also like when you guys beat the Bulls, right? Like that was
solid.
a quarterly win.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they had a 12-point lead and almost gave that game away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah.
So my thing is that like you talked about Ernest about the energy about the starters. It's the same thing here. The starters, the energy. For some odd reason, Julius Randle's body language is not good at all. He's sulking Anytime he doesn't get the ball, he has his head down, shoulders all shrugged up. Like, come on, man, you are the leader. You got that contract extension in the summer for a reason. You need to show that you care, show that you are the leader of this team, and it's all on you to provide that energy at the start of tip. We don't want to see that in the first quarter. We sure as hell don't want to see that in the third quarter because y'all get getting this team's getting blitzed in the third quarters. And teams are running, and it's to a point where the
Sound like the
bench
Lakers.
exactly.
Yeah,
So it's like
two
it's that
defensive-minded coaches who don't really know how to run offense,
and
and just the stars are not really coming to play. Yeah.
and the rotations don't make any sense. It's like okay, and I'll give you an example. The Charlotte game on last Friday, it was tied at 96 and tied at 93, late in the fourth, like 3 minutes to go. Obi Toppin, he's been flying around the rim. Windmill dunk fast break, provided energy off the bench, him and quickly, um, flying around defense, giving that great energy. With the tie game at 93, what does Tibbs do? He subs out Obi Toppin and brings in the cold Julius Randle. And guess what? Hornets go on a 13-4 run to close the game. Same exact example last night. Magic up one. Instead of taking out Burks, who was gas in the fourth quarter, who he takes out? Obi Toppin to go with Derrick Rose and puts in the 4-guard lineup with Julius Randle. Guess what happens? Magic end the game 13-4 to close the game.
So let me just ask this question real quick because, and like whenever I talk basketball with my friends or with you guys or anybody, and the topic comes up where you have a player who comes off the bench or you have a player who starts or whatever and they're rolling, they're on fire, what do you do in that situation? Do you like, all right, I'm a sub you out, or I'm trying to, explain carefully what I'm trying to say. So in that situation, like you just mentioned, right? Obi Thompson flying around the rim and stuff like that. You sit him down, you bring in Julius Randle, right? What I'm saying is, do you feed the hot hand or do you trust your star?
I'm feeding the hot hand.
Okay.
I gotta feed the hot hand because at some point, you gotta realize that your hot hand is gonna make sure that the hot hand is gonna make sure that it's gonna lead you the momentum to win the game.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
at least with Obi Toppin, this is the second year, so he knows the system, right? But he's not as hesitant. He knows where to go on the floor. Okay, if he got the ball, he wants to drive, he drives. He's more assertive than he was last year. So now and plus he's only played 15 minutes a game, or 12, 11, 10 minutes a game. That is not enough minutes for Obi Toppin to develop his game.
Right.
And meanwhile, you're leaving Julius Randle or gas playing 36, 37 minutes. You got to cut his minutes because
he's not contributing.
He's not contributing.
Right.
And on top of that, on the defensive end, he's not contributing at all.
Right.
And now I'm starting to think of his theory that Hawks series last year in the playoffs, everyone has tape on how to defend Julius Randle.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I said this.
Yeah, of course.
Play that little zone. You force him to pass, force him to think about where the double team is coming,
and you force him to go right.
Right.
And he's still not.
Same with RJ.
It's same with RJ Barrett. Like
the left-hand bandits.
And too many times, both of those players they missing wide open layups at the rim, and they got to clean that up ASAP.
Yeah, Kent Bazemore. Yep.
It's like, come on, RJ, you're the third pick of the draft in 2019. Like, there should be no reason that you should not be below 80% near the rim. Like, seriously.
Kent Bazemore, I hope you watching this, brother.
And it's getting to a point where changes need to be made in the starting lineup because this cannot go on. The fact that you paying Evan Fournier $20 million to give you 7 points and not play a single minute in the fourth quarter of the last 6 games, that's not good.
Yeah.
Where was the Evan Fournier in the Olympics?
It's because because of, again, Tibbs' philosophy. If you're not going to play defense, bro, he's going to sit you.
He's going to sit you.
And the thing is that he's too much of a defensive liability in the fourth quarter when games are close because he can get hunted. So
Kemba's getting
it's
hunted left and right. Evan Fournier's getting hunted left and right. So you can't play him in those crucial minutes.
yeah.
And on
So
top of that, their offense has been plummeting. That's
yeah,
that's that was that's the thing that's more frustrating than the defense. It's the offense. It's
yeah,
more like I read a stat where the offensive rating with the starting five is at 102.9, which would be 26 in the league. Like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me like after the hot start they had at 5-1, they came and cracked 105 points?
Yeah.
yeah. So
It's not good. It's not
I would
good.
say, listen. At the end of the day,
But I'm not pushing the panic button. But December 15th is right around the corner. That's the first day where the teams who sign new players
they can do trades.
They can be trades. So Leon Rose, if you're watching, maybe he's not, but if you're listening,
He watching, bro.
December 15th.
He gonna watch.
December 15th. That's the date. Okay.
Yeah.
So Tibbs, keep this up. He might be on notice. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but we'll see.
But
needless to say,
the Knicks fan base.
I know, but
it's the same thing with us.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with us.
Yeah,
Vogel's on a Laker fan hot seat.
Thanks, Sean.
Yes.
But we got to move on to the next topic. But yeah, so listen. At the end of the day, Lakers and Knicks got to get it together. The silver lining for the Lakers, right? Obviously, we're getting LeBron James back tomorrow. Worry about Tuesday because I'll probably be at the Knicks and Lakers game at the Garden.
I'm trying to get tickets for that game.
But we have LeBron coming back. Obviously, Ariza, Nunn when those guys come back, and then the silver lining, honestly, in this whole thing, and then we'll move on after this is Taylor Horton Tucker, man, for the Lakers. Last two games, man, 25 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 threes. Last night, 28 points, 6 rebounds, 4 3-pointers, and 2 assists. He's been playing really well, and I'm glad to kind of see if he can continue this with LeBron coming back. I think we get some good things rolling, but we have to see how it all comes together. In other news, though, around the league, Golden State Warriors, man.
Oh my goodness!
There's nothing more I can say about them. They, as I said, at first, again, I have to credit my guy John Gass because, way before we started the podcast, he would tell me, "Hey, I think the Warriors are going to be a contender this year," and I laughed at him, and I was just like, "That is the most asinine thing to think about right now. They're not going to have Clay until Christmas, At around 30-something games, they're going to miss. The West has got a little bit better. The Pacific Division that they play in obviously has gotten better. But I stand corrected, man. I was wrong, and I've moved over to.
It was all wrong.
Moving them over to them being my sleeper.
I said they're a wild card team. Yeah,
and they are more than a wild card and more than a sleeper. They are on notice.
Yeah.
With Klay Thompson coming back, and I believe from what I read. He's looking like the old of Clay.
Like he never got hurt.
Yeah, he never got hurt. Wiseman's gonna come back. That'll help with the better rotations. You got Jordan Poole probably coming off the bench now. Like it's gonna be that's gonna be a tough team to deal with. I still think the Lakers they click and they figure it out, but I think that's the team that we're gonna have to go to war with in order to get to the championship. And
right.
Man, if we don't get it together, we're getting smoked. That's all I'll say.
Oh, by the way, they lead the league in third quarter point differential. They've been smoking teams in the third quarter.
Yep, and we have the worst point differential in the third quarter. So there goes that discrepancy. And yeah, man, right now, Steph Curry's the clear-cut MVP right now as we speak. It's just
Jordan Poole.
It's just.
By the way, is Jordan Poole 6th man of the year?
I mean, no. Still most improved, yes.
Most improved 6 man. I have to see more. Because he starts right now, though.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, he starts because of Klay Thompson.
Yeah, and right now, I would say Melo or Tyler Hero or like
Tyler Hero,
1 and
for
2
real.
6 man.
Yeah,
I
probably
got
Tyler
Tyler
Hero.
Hero. Tyler Hero's number 1. Melo is a close 2. Like he's
Right.
right under there. Just Melo is just terrible on the road.
We
So
just gotta produce wins. Wins gotta come out of it. Even though the
right,
Miami Heat is 10-5 right now, like the Heat are picking up like great W's against great caliber teams.
yeah.
And
And we
like
beat the
that,
Heat, Sean.
right.
Mhm.
But the thing is, like, like we said early in the season, we could put our finger on Miami and be like, yo, like, this team is not to mess with. If
Yeah,
Brooklyn falls off, if Milwaukee falls off, Miami's coming out the East.
right.
So, and that will be a big credit to Tyler Hero because we said that he was going to have an important role this year.
Yeah, for sure. So, the Warriors, man, I got, I gotta shout them out. The Warriors have been playing really well, and another team I'm gonna give some credit to is the Chicago Bulls. I told everyone this year the Bulls are going to be a team to be reckoned with. A lot of people like
Oof.
scoffed at
They,
me,
Are you okay?
and
oof.
and I
So let
said
me,
the Bulls could
Gosh.
be a top 4 seed in the East. And Eric
Yeah.
said, "Whoa, you laughed at me? No, 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 no,
Yeah, I
you
did.
laughed at
I
me.
did. No, I
You
did. I
laughed at
did.
me."
No, because
And
my thinking was okay. The bench and the defense. Those are my 2 question marks about this team.
excuse me.
The defense has been really good. They're like
yep,
top 5 in defense,
top 5 in defense and have a
and
top 10 offense.
and DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, they've been balling.
Yeah, can we just talk about
They,
DeMar DeRozan, man?
DeMar
Like
DeRozan, he's been on a clinic.
a mid-range monster, but like he never
Mid-range
lost that
clinic.
first game. But
He's a
I feel
mini.
like when he went to San Antonio, he was kind of like cast away, because he
Mhm.
wasn't in the limelight anymore, But I feel like being on the Spurs helped him be a lot more efficient, especially playing that pop system, and
Yeah,
especially having Zach LaVine, Caruso, Zoe, Vucevic, all these guys on the team. It's like, yo,
Well,
bro,
Vucevic, but also Vucevic, he's out with COVID protocol.
yeah, but
okay,
they've still been winning.
It's
but
I
still
mean,
been
they lost last night. It was a bad loss to Portland.
yeah,
yeah,
They blew the lead. They had, if I'm not mistaken, they had
they had a 15-point lead in the
they had
first.
10 turnovers in the third quarter alone, which led to 18 Portland Trailblazer points, that's a recipe to lose right there. So
right, exactly.
they have to take care of the ball more.
Especially
But
that far in the game.
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. But
But
shout out to them. I think the Bulls have been really impressive this year.
also had big wins over the Clippers, the Lakers, the Nets.
Yeah.
anybody can
So
beat the Lakers, man, for real.
yeah. But yeah, we got embarrassed in that game. But needless to say, it's been a great 2 weeks thus far. Well, actually, it's been a full month of the league, right? Well, full
Yeah,
month in.
Yeah.
a lot of
I would,
surprises though.
yeah,
A lot of surprises.
I would say, quick rapid fire. Who are your like surprise teams, or like give me the teams that surprised you the most thus far throughout the month and the most disappointing.
To me,
You don't have to give a
um,
reason. You could just say who, and then
All right.
um,
Go ahead, Eric.
to me is the Washington Wizards.
surprise.
Surprise team, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't
Mhm.
see them come. I didn't see them like go into the season starting off that they are right now.
Right.
But
I
watching
agree.
a couple of their games, their depth with that trade from with the Lakers with Russell Westbrook, it has paid off big time.
Yeah.
And no, for sure. And real quick to everyone in NBA Twitter, Bobby Marks had said he sent a wild tweet saying that the transaction between the Lakers and the Wizards will go down as one of the most historic trades in the last 20 years because of the haul that they got. Let's understand. Let's relax on that because that roster will not even get you out the first round. So can we chill on that? The Wizards are very good, right? And Kuzma's been playing very well. Montrezl been playing very well. And shout out to those guys. I always knew that they had what it took. But let's not act like the Washington Wizards are now a contender and the Lakers lost in that trade. So just want to put that out there.
And my team, and also want to add my team that I'm most disappointed, the 76ers. The 76ers.
They hurt, man.
They're
And
hurt.
they hurt. They
And
got this drama going on.
they
And
lost 5 straight, and
yep,
it's starting to come apart. And
yep,
Ben Simmons' situation is getting worse.
yep. And
I
it was
mean,
going to happen. It was going. You cannot rely on. And
right, exactly.
this is the mistake that they made. One, they overplayed their hand with Ben Simmons. That's one. They thought the man was bluffing when he told them in the offseason, I don't want to be here.
He's
Trade
dead
me.
serious. He's dead serious.
He was dead serious. So they thought like, oh, we'll get him in camp and he'll be all right. Clearly not. You can't rely on Joel Embiid. History has shown every single year this man cannot stay healthy for a full season.
And they gave him a $200 million contract extension.
Right. So if you're gonna say, okay, we're gonna go all in on Embiid, you need to get rid of Ben Simmons to complement some pieces to keep you afloat till he gets back. Right. And this is what I don't understand. Like, they're gonna go to battle with Ben Simmons is winning right now. Right. He's winning.
Like we say, he has all the leverage right now.
All the leverage because they're not good. They're not good without Embiid, and you can't rely on his health. So for them to kind of, they want an overhaul, and like, you're not going to get this. Now all of a sudden I'm hearing there's about a list of 30 players that they want between this year and next year in the trade. It's just all this is nonsense.
Let me just say real quick. I feel like we got to give credit to where his credit's due, because I know Sean, I would think our last episode or the episode before that, he called out a good trade, or that like it worked for basketball reasons between Ben Simmons and Jaylen Brown, right? So when the report came out, he actually texted me and was just like, "Yo, I didn't get paid for doing this."
But then what happened? Daryl Morey asked for everybody. What are you doing?
Click.
Shout out to you, Sean, for real.
Click.
Yeah, shout out to Sean for predicting.
For real, click.
But it's just annoying to see, man, and
dial tone.
It's disappointing because they're not going to be good. They're only going to get worse, and the situation at some point now, what the Sixers have to be careful of is that the fan base is going to get restless.
Oh yeah.
That's Philly for you though.
That's Philly,
right? Yeah,
facts.
Yeah. So, but Amani, go ahead. Give me your.
So surprising team, I would say the Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
They've been raging. Every time I post a caption of the Bulls doing well on the gram, it's the Raging Bulls, because they out here kicking butt, And the disappointed team is the Lake Show, man. Like, just it like I said earlier in the beginning of the episode, we have all of these guys who's able, and I understand we're hurt, we're banged up, but we have all of these guys to hold down the fort, and it's not happening. And we're losing these meaningless games. Like, we lost to OKC twice. We was up.
If we would have beaten OKC in Minnesota, the Lakers would be 11-5, and we wouldn't have this conversation right now.
Right, exactly. And it's just the attention span. Go ahead.
And 11-5 brings us to the number 2 seed in the West. Like,
right.
Come on.
And it's just the attention span is not there. The hunger is not there. And like, we're not coming off a championship, but I feel like guys are just walking in, like, just throwing these lackadaisical passes. Russ jumps in the air before he decides whether or not he wants to shoot or pass. And the thing is, like, you have to learn from your mistakes. I get it. These dudes are professional basketball players. These dudes get paid to play these type of way on the court. But it's like, it has to come down to it. It's just like, yo, like, we have not been winning the game this way, or we've been folding at the end of games, or we're losing to the Thunder. Something has to give.
Yeah. Oh, can I get one? Honorable mention though? Can I get
go ahead?
On my surprise team. Look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're 6-8. Who would have thought that team would have won? Who win like this?
And they picked up 2 W's on the Lakers, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's a young, scrappy team that's coming up. So, and I think another honorable mention on my disappointing team, I'm gonna have to go with the Boston Celtics.
Really?
Like, I'll put it like this: like, the Celtics, like, they're supposed to be a contender every year in the East. I understand that the coaching change they had, and the roster construction is not that great, but I expected at least more from out of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, because those are the 2 alphas on that squad. Yeah, Jason Tatum, he's been shooting poorly, man. Yeah, one game a couple of days ago, went 8 for 20.
Yeah. Remember last time on the episode, I read off a stretch where he was just shooting poorly.
Yeah, he was shooting poorly. Like, he had a 4 for 20 game, a 7 for 19 games. Like
the only good game that he had was against the Hornets when he went to like 2 overtime or something like that.
He had 40 points in that game, and that was it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know they won a couple games.
And guys, don't blame. Do not blame Kobe. Don't blame Kobe for the reason why Jason Tatum is shooting poorly, man.
That's the Celtic fans.
That's the Celtics.
Don't do that.
Yeah. So yeah, my surprise team, and I'm gonna cringe saying this, but I have to give them credit. The Clippers.
Right.
Paul George has been
He's
playing
been
out of his
balling.
damn mind.
He's been balling.
I can't say enough. I thought the Clippers would be worse at this point. And Skip Bayless, I believe like last week or week before or something like that, he did announce that because he has inside info. Yeah, they still blaming Kyrie. Yeah, Boston fans, I don't know, guys. Come on, give it up.
Just give it up, bro.
He had revealed that Kawhi is not coming back this year. And I'm sure Skip has a credible source. So the fact that Kawhi is probably not returning this year, and they're fifth in the West right now at a 9-5 record. Hey, the Clippers have been playing well, and they have been a surprise team for me. I really thought they were going to struggle. Without Kawhi Leonard and obviously without Ibaka, and Batum that came back late. I just and Eric Bledsoe, how he fits in that whole scenario. I gotta give it up to Ty Lue, man. I wish he was our coach, honestly, but yeah, I gotta give kudos to the Clippers. Yeah, go ahead.
I would just say it's because of PG's able to play free,
Yeah.
Not saying that Kawhi was holding him back, but these are like reminiscent of like his Indiana days, where he was the guy when he became most improved, when he started surging, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now that it's clear cut for this season that he's the guy, he's taking it and running with it. There's not like a guy of Kawhi Leonard's caliber to be like, yo, like, all right, let me get some too,
Yeah.
So that is part of the reason why the Clippers are surging and PG is surging,
Yeah. And honorable mention for surprise team is the Cavs.
Oh man,
not a pushover.
Yeah.
Remember
they almost beat us.
Right. What biggest stuff has done with that.
So I was at the game last Sunday when the Cavaliers played the Knicks, and then
Ricky Rubio
just went Reggie Miller on in the third quarter. Mind you, Colin Sexton left the game with that knee injury. Found out it was like a torn meniscus, and
he's
Evan
still out,
Mobley,
and they've been fine.
Yeah.
And Evan Mobley, my goodness.
Yeah, he's looking like rookie of the year.
I had him as my rookie of the year. And there's a reason why. Evan Mobley was making Mitchell Robinson be like,
Hey, can I just say, since we brought up rookie of the year real quick?
By the way, Evan Mobley's out 2 to 4 weeks with a sprained elbow.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, since we brought up rookie of the year, I know from my pick I had Cade, and when he first got back, because he was doing
Cade's been playing well too, man.
Right. He's starting to find his stride, because the first couple of games there was a game where he went scoreless or he had like 2 points or something like that. But now he's starting to get into rhythm, even though the Pistons aren't going to do well. But
even in the matchup against Jalen Green, he showed that he was the better player.
Right, exactly. More polished. It's clear. It's clear that he's finding his stride and finding his rhythm. So that's good to see. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Cavs are my honorable mention for surprise team, and my most disappointing team, aside from the Lakers, as we all know. I would honestly have to say the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks right now are the 10th seed in the East. They're 7-8. They're on a 2-game losing streak. I'm starting to feel like maybe last year was just a
fluke.
Like a fire burnout or something.
I felt this year, them getting a taste of the Eastern Conference Finals and we're one step away from reaching the finals. I thought this year they would have had a little bit more, barav about them. They have the swagger about them, but they've been struggling defensively. They're really not good on the defensive end this year. I thought Cam Reddish was actually going to take a very good leap this year. It kind of hasn't.
He's out.
DeAndre Hunter.
DeAndre Hunter is also out too.
Yeah.
Collins didn't take the leap after getting the contract he just got. So
Kevin Herter's been struggling. Gallinari's been bad.
And then Trey Young had a slow start to the season too, and part of
Yeah.
the reason is for the whole rule change.
Right.
Yeah,
And
right.
for sure.
Yeah,
You
And
know, I just think the Hawks should be in a better position that they're in
of
now.
course,
oh
agreed.
yeah.
Yeah,
Considering with the experience that they got last year and bringing back the same core this year, I thought that'd be better. So they're my disappointing team, aside from the Lakers, obviously.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Also, Hawks Twitter, they're like they're shouting out fire Nick McMillan, saying that
they
they've
gotta
been
relax.
bamboozled, this
They
and
gotta relax.
that. His rotations was is not good at all. How you
They
play
gotta
Clint
relax.
Capella like
Mm.
25, 30 minutes. Like, oh boy, you're like, here goes the overreaction for the Hawks fans.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they've been real disappointing though.
yeah, for sure. And yeah, that's all I got. Again, this is very early. We're a full month in. You know, who knows what'll happen in the next 5 months, right?
Right.
We still
It's still a long
got a
season.
long way to April, May, and June.
You still got trade deadline. You still got free agent. You still got All-Star break, trade deadline. I mean, we still got December 15th,
Oh,
so it's still a long season.
one other
Yes.
thing to mention is that I believe is the GM for Portland.
Yeah, Neil O'Shea. Yeah.
Yeah, he stepped down, so I feel like
Yeah, the Dame clock that time is up.
That time is up.
that too, and there's a lot of authority figures in these organizations that they see what's going on in Phoenix, and they're like, "Yo, like, let me get up out of here, let me bounce,"
Yeah,
yeah.
So it's starting to wind down, So I think what we've
which is
seen
good.
from
We need
right,
those snakes out of there.
right, what we've seen from the GM of Portland, I feel like more of that is going to start to trickle down.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just to hop on the Lakers, just real quick, the Lakers' next 12 games are very favorable, right? So this is another stride that they can kind of get things together with LeBron coming back. They have we have Boston tomorrow, then we're at Detroit on Sunday, at the Knicks on Tuesday, at Indiana on Wednesday. Then we have a two home game stretch against Sacramento, then Detroit, then back at Sacramento, then against the Clippers, then against the Celtics again, then at Memphis, at OKC, and then against
Yeah, they
Orlando
gotta
and
get
that
rid of.
stretch.
They gotta get rid of that man.
Yeah. Luke Walton got to go.
They
That Marvin Bagley situation.
and Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson aired them out. Yeah,
Last night. I don't even know
That
coach to
Marvin Bagley
motivate me,
situation.
and stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a nasty situation, but
yeah.
the Lakers have some opportunity here to gain some ground and turn things positive in his next 12 games.
We said that last time.
We did, but LeBron should be back hopefully for all these games.
We said that last time, and
Yeah.
now look.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm predicting we at the very least I'm looking at 10-2. Hopefully, that's my expectation.
Okay.
10-2 over the
Okay.
next stretch.
10-2.
But we'll see. We will see. But yeah, a lot of teams got issues, man.
So
But
let me a 10-2 dominant or 10-2 with drama.
10-2 with drama.
It's gonna
With
be 10-2 with
It's gonna
drama.
be
It's the
drama.
Lakers, man.
Okay.
It's the Lakers. It's the
Okay.
Lakers. It's gonna be drama.
I would just like for once to go to a Laker and Knicks game with my ticket, my Laker jersey on, and just sit back and watch us, smash the Knicks. But it's always some BS. It's always some BS. LeBron got blocked by Mario Hezonja that year.
Oh, yeah.
I had to take that long train ride home and try to figure out what to do with the rest of my afternoon, man. So yeah.
Hopefully we don't get a repeat of that crap.
Guess what's gonna happen? It's gonna come down to the last 3 minutes of the game, tied at 92. With both teams struggling on offense.
Yeah, basically,
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna.
Last May, that Nick game in LA.
Oh yeah. What, THC stepped up crazy.
Oh my gosh!
It's gonna be some ugly basketball on Tuesday, guys. Just letting you know. But yeah, other than that, guys, that concludes the show for today. For this week, episode 8, as we deep dive into the Warriors' great start, the Lakers and Knicks struggles, surprise teams and disappointing teams. But tune in next week
because
college basketball is back. In next week's episode, we'll be covering the college basketball game, right? So We'll talk about the AP polls. We'll talk about rookies. Obviously, this year who's been impressive. Who do we like coming out of college next draft? So, really good information. Really good show coming up next week, guys.
Also, Pablo Banchero and Trevor Keels out of Duke. Those two are monsters.
Yeah, but Pablo's in some trouble.
Yeah, like, come on, bro. Come on, man.
So.
Come on.
But we'll see, and again, we'll deep dive into that, and we'll talk about the college game. Got some really cool storylines and stuff to talk about. So, stay tuned, and join us next week.
Join us next week, y'all.
Thanks. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.
Yes, you know the handle.
Please go like. Please go subscribe to the channel.
You know the handle.
Also, we'll be on this podcast. Be on this YouTube stream. Will be on audio podcast. So look out on Anchor, Apple, Google Play, everywhere. So
before we sign off, one thing I forgot to mention: the big news. How can we forget about this? The crypto arena.
All right, time to end this. It's time to end this conversation.
The crypto arena.
It's time to end this conversation. Man,
700 million.
in love and memory of the house that Kobe built, man.
I just want to say real quick.
Arena.
I just want to say real quick, Ernest. I feel like you can speak on this. When the Lakers played at the Forum, and the Lakers decided to move to Staples, I'm pretty sure there was Laker fans like, "What's the Staples Center?"
Mm-hmm.
So not saying I'm not cool with the name. But as time goes by, it's going to be the new normal.
Yeah,
let me just put that out there.
I would have been fine with it if they just called it the crypto arena.
Crypto, yeah,
whatever.
Exactly.
But the crypto.com arena, like, come on, lose the .com.
Anyway, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here.
You know, reminds me of Candlestick Park when they cheated to .com .park.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah,
come on, man.
Tune in next week, guys.
Tune in.
Later. Subscribe. Like, subscribe to the channel. You guys know the handle. Peace.